What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's missing person case is Donna. Also, today's person of interest is Olivia. Today's missing person case is Currie.
Hello? Oh, doesn't work right here. That freaking shit. Hello? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Chris with Monsters Under the Bed. I cover murder, mystery to the paranormal. And today's show, we're going to be talking about doing rounds. We've been out there 3 times now. And grab my notes here. And so, yeah, we've been out there 3 times now. And of course, we want to go out there one more time because I literally just got a text message. So for those that might be a little bit newer to my channel, I am working alongside search and rescue. So, and of course, I know some people, I still see in the comments saying, you do realize that the family doesn't want anybody going out there. And yes, we do know that. That was really in response to last week when there was a bunch of people talking about getting together and going out there and searching this weekend. And law enforcement was actually, it was Box Elder was the first one to put out the statement saying, hey, we don't want anybody out this way because, you know, somebody could get hurt, lost, or, you know, contaminate something. So, but we talked to them and told them where we're going. And they said that was fine. We had the green light to go where we were at because we're a long ways from Lucin, you know, because clearly that's like kind of, you know, the area that they're at, focused at. And so where we were going and where we went, obviously, the other day, we had the green light. And, man, it sucks. I wish I could call her because she just sent me a text message. And I don't know if I can really say anything, but let's just say that where we were headed at, or where we were at, sounds like something may be out there. But I need to call her, and so, like I said, I don't want to speculate, but I will probably, after this video, after I call her, I'll give you guys an update, because she literally just sent me a text message just like minutes before I went live, and I wish I could read the full message to you guys, but it sounds like we could be on the right path. So it's like I've got goosebumps right now. So anyway, so before we get started, let's first feature the missing. So let me move this over just a little bit. And mods, if you could just let me know how the chat's going, if it needs to be slow down at all or speed it up, just let me know. I know I've literally got goosebumps. I wish, like I said, I wish I could call her and ask her like if I could share this information, because I'm like, this is crazy. All I can say is it looks like they were really scanning our footage right now. That's all I can say. So it could be nothing, but like I said, I wish I could call her to really get the full context of the text message I just got. So, all right. So before we get started, for those that are new to the channel, I like to feature missing person cases. And there's a couple that were special requested. So, yes, we will be doing some call-ins, but please don't call in yet. If you can, try not to put the number up just yet, please. Yeah, we'll do call-ins in about a half an hour or so. We're going to go over just the missing, a quick few updates, and then we'll definitely do some call-ins as well. So this is a special request from a close friend. So this is Jackson Miller, and his story is he went missing on May 15th in 2010, and he was 19 years old at the time. 5'11", 160 pounds. It says that he left his home depressed and anxious while he was battling anxiety and depression. He was trying to get off these anti-anxiety medications, which is really tough. It can really mess up your mind, getting on and off those kind of medications. So apparently he drove the family car to the Golden Gate Bridge. He left all his belongings in the car. But from the footage that are on those bridge, like security surveillance, it says that he was seen parking the car, and he was seen walking out of the camera's view. So he never, from what it sounds like, he never jumped off. And then he was spotted 4 days later. There was 3 different sightings in Jackson on California Avenue near 21st Street in San Francisco. And then it says there's been numerous leads from people who think they've seen Jackson in San Francisco since then, but none of them been confirmed due to delay with tips coming in, too long or too late. So sadly, he's been missing for what are we at, 13 years now. So and so here's an age. So here's a picture when he was 19. This is an age progression picture. Let me scoot that over a little bit of what Jackson could look like now. So, but yes, this was. I do take requests. If I don't get to everybody's, I apologize. I'm just one person. I've been getting tons of emails from tips on the Dylan Rounds case to pet pics to everything, so just please be patient with me. So alright, so now let me back this out a little bit. Is everything good? Okay, so there's Jackson. Then this is another special request. This is Donald Kelly, who is 56. He went missing this year, and his sister and a close friend have also emailed me, and this was also another special request. He went missing in Virginia. He's 6'3", so he's pretty tall, 150 pounds, and he's got short brown hair, blue-gray eyes. This one, he was driving a rig Kia Sportage. According to the family, he would never go this long without contacting a family member. From what they emailed me and said is that they believe that foul play is suspected when it comes to Donald Kelly. And maybe one of these times we'll kind of delve a little bit deeper into this case, because it sounds like it's pretty bizarre. So here's just kind of a close-up to him. But yeah, that was another special request from a family member. So like I said, you can email me. Just give me the name, kind of like a poster or something, if you have a friend or a family member that's currently missing. And if it's something that's more recent, try to get a hold of my mods, so I can quickly get it out there the next video I do. And then, of course, since we're going to be talking about Dylan Rounds, I always have to mention Aiden Clune, who went missing on the 27th of April, about 50 miles south of Wells, in Currie, Nevada. Apparently, he drove from Salt Lake to Wells, spent the night on the 26th, and then left his hotel early in the morning, headed south, and then pulled over on the side of the freeway, got out. I believe he even left his truck door open, and then walked into the mountain range. Sadly, they tracked his footprints or his tracks for about 10 miles and then lost him. And so that happened just a month prior to Dylan Rounds. And personally, I don't think these two are connected in any way. Especially, I think a lot of people don't, if they don't know the context of the backstory about Aiden Clune, you know, you have two boys that go missing near the same area, but Aiden was from California and he just came out here, so I don't think the two are related, and it sounds like he was having some kind of depression issues. Okay, so I wanted to go over just a little bit. There's been some on the official Dylan Rounds Facebook page. They've updated a few things because I definitely still see a lot of the same questions pop up. So they do actually go in and do some answer some questions on that. So I'm going to go over that. They tracked him 10 miles west into Cherry Ranch, I think it is. And they did actually have a search party this weekend. And I didn't get a chance to look into that. But they do actually have people looking out for him, so that's great. And we will, if we can, try to get out there. Let me pull this up. Alright, you guys can see it okay. So I'm going to scoot that down. No, that makes it a little bit smaller. Okay, so I just want to touch on a few things. Sorry, it's a little bit smaller. Let me back out real quick. Is this the right one? Oh, it is. Okay, so on the Dylan Rounds Facebook page group, it's nice because they've got the timeline, which they've kind of updated a little bit. And then they've also got this, frequently asked questions, which is great because I've seen the same questions pop up a lot. So I thought, why don't we cover a few of those, and then, like I said, it seems like this drone footage, that this place that we went out to could be on the right track, and that's about all I can say. So here's some of the main questions that people ask. Who was the last person to see Dylan? Dylan was last seen by several unconfirmed eyewitnesses in Montello, so that would have been on, now they have it here, the Friday the 27th. They can confirm he was there on the 26th, but he was there apparently on the 27th as well. The confirmed sighting would have been the 26th, where he used his bank account, or his debit card. The last person to speak with his grandmother was obviously his... last person to speak with Dylan was his grandmother on the conversation that Saturday morning at 6:51. When was Dylan's last phone ping, which was at 3:41 on that same day. Now, I have an update on this particular phone ping, and this is going to be in a short interview with Kurt Wadsworth and Reverend Donna, who gave me permission to play some of the interview. So, and then let's see. So yes, they did search the pond, because that's another big thing. Is they're like, did they drain or search the pond? Yes, it had been drained and searched. And also, the people that run this page are real close to the family, Jazz. They actually watched our show, me and Gizla's, 2 days, let's see, what was it? Yeah, 2 days ago, and said very highly great things about us, about this channel, because, there's a lot of other channels that are kind of veering off the facts. And so it was nice to get a message from Jazz, who was in contact with the mother, saying that it's nice to, that we had a great show, and it was nice that we stuck with the facts, and appreciate that the family appreciates what we're doing, and we're doing it on a kind of like a official capacity when it comes to going out there and searching. And thank you so much, Darlene, for your $10 super chat. Thank you so much. And then another question is, the grain silo, has it been checked? There's no silo. It's just a farm. The things that are officially missing are Dylan's phone, wallet, and it is Dylan's phone, wallet, a pistol, and his key fob. Because the pistol I wasn't sure about, because there was talk about the pistol being found in a camper, so I wasn't sure if that was the same pistol. So, and this was updated just the other day, so it looks like 4 things are still missing of his. And what's up, Grizzly? We got Gizla in the house. Thank you so much. Shout out to all the Grizzlies. They were the ones that helped fund us to get out there the second time. So thank you guys so much. Let's see. Was the interior of the truck clean? The mother says no. It was dirty and dusty like normal. So it didn't look like anybody tried to wipe down any evidence. Another great question. How can you tell the truck was pressure washed? So this is interesting. It says you can visibly see the pressure washer streaks. And there is still, and then of course the mud in the wheel well. But we have heard some conflicting reports that Dylan could have power washed his own truck. But I don't want to say that for a fact, because I think that right now it's just speculation. Let's see. Okay, then who is the landowner of the grain shed property? So we're not going to give his full name, but his initials are JC. So we're the grain shed where he'd go to park his truck, the seed truck. That is property that he shares with a guy named JC. And then, of course, a lot of people still ask, did they check the grain truck, inside the grain truck? Yes, they did. Did the grain truck make it into the shed? Yes, the grain truck was parked. I think he was there. I think he probably called his grandmother while he was there. This is just my opinion. I think he called his grandmother while he was on that property or close to the property. And then, because from what I understand, it started raining around like 6:30, but it was very, very light rain. And a lot of the storms come from like west to east. So I think it would have probably started raining, say like in Montello, and then slowly kind of crept his way. Let's see. Has the dirt and burn pile by his boots been searched? Yes. Let's see. Another one. Now this is interesting. Were the boots dry or muddy? And it says they appeared to be dry and not to have been exposed to the weather, according to Candace. I find that very interesting, and I definitely want to take a little bit more look into that for sure. Oh, we got Gloria Dillon in True Crime Utah. Yes, Gloria Dillon, she went to the pretrial for James Brenner. Maybe we can have Gloria Dillon call in. I would love to hear from you. And I love the new name, True Crime Utah. Represent Utah. Awesome. So, maybe if we get some time, that would be awesome to hear if... because I know you've been talking with Chase's ex-girlfriend and stuff. I would love to hear if you have any information or just anything that you've got. We would love to hear from you. Let's see. I'm just trying to go through this. Now, of course, the encounter with some guy is the Chase Venture guy, who was the guy that kind of stumbled out of the desert, scratched up and bloody and had no boots. This is Chase Venstra. And we'll get a little bit more into him and why I went to the area that I did, and we'll kind of reveal where we went. Let's see. Oh, there's Tom, man. We were thinking about you. Hey, Mob Crew. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Back to work for me. I'll have to go back and watch. Thanks, Tom, man. As always, you're an amazing supporter. You are so awesome. I couldn't do what I do without the support from you and all the other members. And just everybody here. Just even if you can't donate, just being here and chatting and watching supports the channel. Thank you so much, Tom. Okay, I'm just looking over these questions to point out anything. Because I did find some very interesting things that have been updated in this. Okay, so why are searches on hold? Okay, organized searches are on hold to allow law enforcement and the FBI to conduct their investigation without any hindrance or interference. So yes, of course, we know that. We speak to a contact who is in contact with Box Elder. Obviously, we wouldn't go out there if we didn't get the green light. And the reason why we had the green light is because this is Lucin right here, okay? This area here is Lucin. Well, actually, let's go down a little bit. I got a lot on this map. So this is just kind of the general area of Lucin, which is huge. Okay, let me show you where we were at. We were all the way over here, not bothering a single soul. And so that's kind of where we were searching. Which apparently, from what I was just saying, we just got a text from my contact saying that apparently you're on the right track. And that's all I can say for right now until I call her. I have no idea what that means, but excited to hear that. Because we'd like to go out there at least one more time, and I want to show you guys what we would love to do. True Crime, I heard that they are doing some laser scanning. Interesting. Laser scanning. Huh. I wonder if that's some kind of like ground penetration, laser scanning. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, let me finish the last little bit, and then we'll listen a little bit of that interview, and I'll show you some more of that area. Okay, I'm like, what the heck happened? Thank you so much, Daisy, for your $10 super chat. You're awesome. Okay, let me find where we're at. Okay, here we go. Okay, there's 2 more pages. Let's see. Okay, there's one person I haven't really mentioned on this channel yet because, like I said, the one thing we haven't really done with this channel is talk about persons of interest, just because we've been going out there, and the last thing we want to do is run into people that we're supposedly talking about, and yeah, it would just kind of get, just for our safety. But since I don't think we're going to be going to the Lucin Montello area, just because it sounds like we might be on the right track, we're going to just stay away from that, and then we can talk about a few of these people since most of them are incarcerated at this moment anyway. And thank you, Doodle Bug Lori. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You're awesome. Okay, so one of the people that I haven't mentioned on this channel is Robert Avilius, who is a friend of Chase. He was supposedly identified as a person accused of holding Dylan hostage at his mother's home. So if we remember in the beginning, the mother getting a call from Kurt saying that he heard that there's two gentlemen holding Chase at a house in Montello. So apparently it was supposed to be Chase and this Robert guy holding Dylan at a house, which ended up being not true. And it ended up coming from like a psychic to another person. So it was everything kind of, the whole story just got twisted and it sounded like it wasn't real to begin with. So yeah, but so that's Robert Aviles. He has been since arrested. Looks like he was also squatting in a trailer, and he is currently in police custody on unrelated charges. I believe drug charges and stuff like that. So, all right. So, like I said, man, I really wish I could call my contact right now. Let's see if I can. Okay, I'll just read the first part. This is all I can read. So, sounds like your hunch heading out there last week was a good one. I wish I could scan every inch of that area out there. That's what she sent me. Now, obviously, this tip came from somebody, and we'll shout them out, obviously, if this turns out to be true. So, all right. Let's see. So I'm going to play just a little couple of snippets because someone gave me permission to play it. There's another interview with Kurt Wadsworth out there, and I'm just going to play just a few little tidbits. It's from a Reverend Donna. There's something interesting at the very end that they talk about that it's like, oh my gosh, that is interesting. I've never heard that before, and it's about a phone call that happened on Saturday. And so we'll play that. Okay. So, quick thing. This is why people are okay with us. Like I said, the people that were in contact with Search and Rescue, and why they're okay with us going out and doing what we do, because we're trying to do this on kind of like an official capacity, is, and I'll explain that in just a second. Paula, great work. I like the way you keep it real and not full of unrelated talk, as most of the other channels do. Thanks. I enjoy your show. Thank you so much, Paula. I said, the one thing I will say is I'm just glad that all the channels are not going after each other. I know that some people are not happy with other channels. I just want to say, at the very least, it seems like a lot of them are trying to work together as to, as opposed to like going after each other. Like that happened with like the Delphi murder case. Like everybody just wants it to be their own thing, and it's all about just going after other creators. So I will say that it's nice to see that. So anyway, so just to give you an example of what we do when we come across stuff. Yes, I think it did. Yes, you're right. It did originate from Thai. But like I said, we will give the proper shout-outs to everybody when the time is right. So, I found this beanie right off the side of the road. It could be absolutely nothing, but I just wanted to show you guys what we do in this case. And that is to document it, write down what it is, the size, whatever, take some pictures, film it. I got a GPS system that lets me know exactly where I'm at, and I call my contact and say, this is what I found, and leave it. And that's why people are okay with what we're doing, because we just, if we come across anything, we document it, call our contacts who are in contact with Box Elder, and if it's something they need to come and pick up, they'll go and handle it. So, ooh, yeah, LiDAR. Okay, yes. Ooh, I like that. So it sounds like they're probably, because they've been really focused, from what I understand from the local I speak to, they've been really focused around that grain shed. So it sounds like maybe an altercation happened, and that's just speculating, at somewhere near that grain shed. So, all right, I'm going to skip forward. Okay, I'm going to start playing that little bit of interview because I just want you guys to hear this very interesting part at the end that I thought. And I got the link to this full interview, of course, in the description. So I have to shout out to Donna. She kind of interviews him. What she did an interview like off air, and then she did a live, or she uploaded, and then so what she does is she'll take clips, and then she kind of explains a little bit, and then plays a clip, explains. And so we're just going to try to go to where she's talking, or where she's having the conversation with Kurt.
Describe again and hit about his activity, and that's why he went and did a read. And I talked to that psychic, and Kurt, he doesn't even want to
because there's no place to
So you told her that.
Anonymous people.
Okay. So like I said, I'm going to play about 3 or 4 different clips from this, and then show you guys the footage of the area that seems like we may be on the right track. And like I said, this does come from Ty and Jim.
Why would you think they would not kill him? And Kurt said, because he's so young, who would do that to him? So Kurt considers Dylan a friend, and he doesn't even want to think about Dylan being dead until proven otherwise. And I agree with them. I think that's a good way to go with this. So it's just to, I don't want to hurt him. I didn't want to hurt Kurt. But this is how the whole container rumor got started.
So that's why I didn't say he was being held captive here in Montello in a certain house. I said he could be in this town. He's not out there because there's no place to
So you told her that, and then it or you told someone and it just went through the line, and then it blew up into this, maybe some people are holding him for ransom.
So this is obviously, they're talking about that whole supposed hostage situation that ended up not being true.
Yep.
So that's another laying rumor or whatever.
Suspects. Now, Kurt is not the one telling me, I'm the one telling him. That what I received early on, even in that first mini reading, was that this person had tried to get Dylan to hire him and was angry. Well, apparently there's a few people like that fits. Now, the guy they just arrested the day after my reading, it sounds like he was staying in a turquoise, that rundown. I mean, it's a little confusing even to me, but I thought that was interesting. They arrested this guy the next day. They put in jail named Jim. But what I've learned, and not from Kurt, but I've talked to several people in this town, and what I've learned is there was an issue related to a fence between this Jim guy and Kurt, and that the Jim guy he had full use of that shed. The owner lives in another state, and then the owner told Dylan that he could park there, but he still had to call this Jim guy in order to get in and out of some kind of fence, and Dylan didn't like that, and so Dylan just took apart the fence so that he could go in and out at will. So there was some friction there. Now, I don't know the entire story, and I don't even know if that's the guy. And then there's these other people that are equally suspect who also, let me see how to put this.
So this is between Donna Seraphina, hopefully I said that right, and Kurt Wadsworth. And like I said, I'm going to play 3 different clips, and this is the first one.
Dylan rolled into town with his money and his, newer, fancier equipment. And in order to finance his own farm, he started working for other farmers in the area. In doing that, he put some people who didn't have as fancy as equipment out of business. essentially. And there isn't that many ways to make money out there in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so people who are putting food on the table by working on other farms were displaced because of Dylan. And then Dylan is known to have, even by his mother, she said he's an elitist, right? He makes no apologies when he has more money or better equipment or anything. In fact, he could come across as a little condescending to some people. And he was approached, I know, by multiple people who he had put out of business. He was approached, okay, well, hire us then. Can you hire us? And some of those people have had reputations that are not that good.
Okay, so that's the first one. I'm going to play two more. And real quick, some people are saying the chat's kind of going fast. I'll turn it down just a tad for you guys. Because the last two times, I guess I had it a little too slow, and we don't want that either. So give me 1 second while I quickly adjust it. Just a second. We'll do that. That should slow it down just a little bit for you guys. Let me know how that works. Okay, so I'm going to skip it forward because what I really want to play is this part where she talks about this phone call, which I think is kind of related to this ping.
Right? And so Dylan was just like desert into multiple sources. Into one of the possibilities is that if Kurt,
like it was new.
Kurt and I, in our conversation after the reading was over about the possibility of the truck, the seat being moved forward in the truck as a piece of evidence.
Why I think the truck thing is totally, first of all, he washed his own truck. I know that for sure because I deceived him about it. Because his truck was filthy and he bought a new pressure washer. And when I seen it clean,
Black
I was
Dove.
thinking, I said, well, did you get a new truck?
Yeah, we'll do call-ins in about 15 minutes.
I hadn't seen it like that for months. Yeah, like it was new. And he goes, yeah, I said, dude, Tony finally put that new pressure washer to work, huh? He goes, yeah, I spent 2 hours. And I didn't do that great of a job. And I said, yeah, look, he didn't wash underneath at all. You know,
Okay,
the well
so
wells
it's
have
slow?
blood driven. I said, and he goes, I don't care about that. That'll eventually fall off. I'm just worried about, I just got
Of it to the appearance in it.
I was all about the appearance, and he was, the whole back of his truck just had oil and grease and diesel fuel, and if you threw a shovel in there and you pulled it out, it would have grease on it. Because now I grab that shovel, I just throw it in there for a minute. Next time I take it out, it's got grease on it, and then I grab it. Now pretty soon I got grease on my shirt, grease on, all over me from the handle of the shovel, and that made me mad. I said, you got to get this thing cleaned out. I ain't throw anything back there. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
He said, well, look in the back. I stood up on, there's a thing you pull out. Stood up there and looked around. My God, man, that looks like a new truck, Johnny. I think, yeah, that's 2 hours of my time that I really didn't have to do this, but it's done. I mean, well, that's pretty cool. That part is, his truck was locked. They couldn't find, he didn't have keys. He had a key fob. He never carried that around because it was too big to put in your pocket. It was obnoxious.
Yeah.
He was just like, hide it away, somewhere. And he was telling me one day, he goes, yeah, just key fob them. Unless if it's not within a certain distance truck, he said, if I got this key fob, and he would bring it, lay it on the table. He said, if I have this, somebody can go start my truck if I don't lock it. But once it gets out of distance, key fob, it just shuts off. I said, really? That's pretty cool. He goes, yeah, I don't worry about it because they're not going to get very far. They get a certain distance away from this, it's going to shut off. Now that's pretty awesome. But anyway,
So if you guys couldn't hear that, sorry, it's like you can hear her great, but the interview, he's kind of light. But he's talking about the key fob. I usually have my key fob, so just in case, because I think there's some people that, I think most of you know what a key fob is, but of course I don't think I have mine near me. Anyway, it's a little device that you tap, it's got the lock button, the alarm button on it, usually it's about this big around. And he's saying that his has the ability that, let's say someone tries to take off with his truck, it'll only go so far, and then the truck will die. It'll turn off because the key fob is not there near the truck. So it's got a certain radius that this key fob has to be within range of the truck. So that is interesting to keep note of. Okay. Because I'm interested to hear from some people, especially Gloria and Black Dove. So I want to play this last little bit because I found this and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is very interesting.
FBI and everybody would know.
You can call and get this. Figure out what that message is. Because
Okay, here it is.
The time was about, so the times were all, I don't.
You know which people are really involved, and just a matter of
this
getting
is it
to
right
the
here.
Final details of this crime.
The guy that owns the property out there. He said, I just found out about this. This is pretty crazy. I said, yeah, it's just like a bad nightmare for me. And he said, well, Dylan called me. I was still up in Idaho in another time zone and everything else. So the times were all, I can't really say it was 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. But he called me. I was out of service, so he left a message. And it's more than a minute long, and I can't listen to it. And I was like, that's the word. I have messages but more than a minute on my phone. I don't understand that. But he said, I called Verizon. I said, why can't I listen to this message? And they said, well, because it's too long. And they said, well, if law enforcement can get it, but you can't. We can give it to them, but not you. And I said, dude, you've got to call. I'll give you the FBI guy's name right now. You can call and get this. Figure out what that message is. Because the time was about the time this probably happened, about 4 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, he left a message on your phone around that time?
Oh, on this other guy's phone. He called this guy that owns the property where he parked that truck.
Oh, he called them around 4?
Yep.
And he left a message and the guy can't retrieve it?
He can't himself, but that's why I said, well, and Verizon told him he wanted to hear it. But they said, we can't let you listen to it, but law enforcement can get that. If they call us, we'll get it for them, but we can't give it to you. I was like, well, that's the weirdest thing I've heard of. But
it makes sense if law enforcement's already talked to them, so they have a hold on it not to give out any information. I mean, that makes sense. Under normal circumstances, it wouldn't make sense, but if law enforcement's already, all I heard was his phone pinged around his property around sometime in the afternoon.
Not his property.
Oh, not his property, the other property?
So,
he didn't own that property. He just had access.
So that is interesting. So apparently Dylan tried to call the owner that they share the property of the grain truck. Apparently he left a message, and they say around 4 p.m. on Saturday, which we know that they were able to get a cell phone ping off the tower that was at 3:41. So it sounds like this call right here, this was actually a phone call that they were actually able to retrieve that gave him this data, which means he could have been, and actually I think this would confirm, if this is true, that he was still alive at this moment, if they, let's say they verified his his voice on the voicemail. But basically what Kurt is saying is that he called Dylan, the property owner that they share this with, from what I'm understanding, and they say around 4 p.m., which at 3:41 is around 4 p.m., and he was obviously not on the property. And this is where, in the first interview with Heavy D Sparks, when they tell her that they were able to get the phone ping, and it was south of the tracks, and it was down in a little gully, and this is your 15.4 mile radius from the tower, which is the towers up here. So I find that quite fascinating, that if that is true, then that would confirm that he was still alive at that time. If that is obviously his voice on the voicemail. But that is interesting. 'Cause I hadn't heard that before. Okay. So before we take some phone calls, let me just show you guys where we were been searching and why we were searching that way. Because Chase Venstra was picked up somewhere around mile marker 53. And from what I understand, and please forgive me, because the one thing is we've been going out there, so it takes like a day for us to get prepared. Then obviously we're out there all day, and then when I come back, I've got to get the footage ready for the search and rescue. And so it's really hard for me to keep up with all the other channels, and I know there's a lot of information that's been coming out from different locals. So that's why I'm so glad to have like Black Dove and maybe True Crime Utah maybe come on and call and just kind of get some maybe updates. But we were told that it's a possibility that maybe Jim, Chase, and even Robert Avilius could have been involved, and that they had traveled to Park Valley and then maybe headed south. You've got a ghost town which is called Kelton, which is over here. I actually just showed you some of the clips of the cemetery, and I will show the cemetery is creepy, and as a matter of fact I'm going to save that for a paranormal tomorrow, because it is a creepy little cemetery. What I did notice is that there is some cameras. If by some dumb chance that these guys actually traveled down this road, which I don't think so, or traveled back up, there's actually a place that's got security cameras. So I did let Search and Rescue know, who they will let obviously Box Elder know that, hey, there's working security cameras up here just in case. But it sounds like there's a possibility that these guys, mile marker 53 is approximately right here. I think he could have gotten off and taken this route down here, and then you could have dumped, Dylan anywhere around here or over here. You got Devil's Playground, more over this way here, and so just so many areas to search. As you can see as we back out, I mean, this is like an eighth of Utah just right here. That's how big of an area to search. You couldn't have enough people. 1,000 people would be enough. 10,000 people wouldn't be enough. They need all the help they can get. So I will, if you guys want to post the number, mods, if you could, please. And if you do send me a PayPal or anything, I will try to check it periodically, which it looks like I just did. Thank you, Raina, as always, for the PayPal. You're awesome. We would love to go back out there one more time. Obviously, what we want to do is get a secondary drone. And what we want to do is for the roads, because the problem is, let's say you send out the drone, right? And you want to map an area. So you send it out there, but once it's done and the battery starts getting low, you have to send it back before the battery dies. So unfortunately, you spend part of your battery life just bringing the drone back. But with this technique that we've been doing, but if we have two drones, so on both sides of the roads, and then doing like a zigzag, so get my hands in there, but zigzagging with the two drones, and then since we're driving, we don't actually have to call it back, because we would just drive down the road and then pick them up, and we could save so much battery life, cover immense ground, and that would be our next strategy to go out there. And then obviously there's a few caves that we want to check as well. Okay, let me see, make sure the phone line's up here. Okay, So the phone line should be good. It's just one phone line, so there's no, I can't put people on hold. Well, so I apologize if everybody just all tries to call at once. If we could, I would love to hear from Black Dove or True Crime Utah first, just to, or at some point, so we could just see what kind of latest information they have. But the number is 435-612-0277. And this is the area that I was talking about. So this is near Kelton. Oh, no, I can't use StreamYard. Yeah, I'm using OBS, Black Dove. Oh, that sucks. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try. Usually it's fine on my system. And then, yeah, if you or Gloria want to call in, if not anybody, just to kind of get it going. So I'm going to show you guys the cameras here, because I alerted the authorities about this just to make sure they knew that they're this area right here. So this is what was this? Some kind of Ruby Power. What was that? Oh, Ruby Pipeline. That's what it was. So it was Ruby Pipeline, but as you can see, they've got massive security cameras. They got one here. I know they got like 2 or 3. So if anybody was driving down this road and didn't realize it, they would have been caught on camera. Because there's not too many roads, as you can see right here. Put that in right there. So here you've got your mile marker 53, and if you got off on, which would probably be this road here, or even Park Valley, and then take you right straight down. And so some of these red spots is where we flew our drone. I haven't marked them all. These are just a few of them. Yeah, I am going to get a Zoom set up eventually on OBS. But right now with OBS, I can't set up a StreamYard. It won't allow me. The number. Can someone post the number one more time? Post the number here. And then I'll pin it. I'll pin it at the top. I guess I should have done that in the beginning. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to cancel this out. So 821 votes. Most of you think that more than one person is involved. I think so. You got to think if you were. Sorry, I'm just reading. You would think that obviously to move a body, people don't realize dead weight is a lot. So, yep, 435-612-0277. It's going to take a minute for someone to call in because obviously I'm ahead of you guys by about 5-10 minutes. Well, not that long, but a couple of minutes. Okay, here we go. Oh, this must be Glorian.
Call from
True Crime Utah.
to accept, press 1.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. Yeah, see, we still have the big issue in chat about the hike. I can't believe it's such a controversy.
Oh, about what? Wait, I missed that last part. About which what?
Oh, how tall
Oh,
Jim Brenner is.
yes, because they have 5'10", right?
Yes, they do, and they say he's 190 pounds. Now, he's no 190 pounds. He is very plump. And he's no 5'10". I think that they had some papers for somebody else, and they mixed up the names.
Oh yeah, I mean because I've been doing this for a little while. I understand sometimes, especially like with jail, they'll just either go off the ID or they'll just ask them, "Hey, what's your height, weight?" Or they just fill it out, and so they can put whatever.
Yeah, because I'm 5'3". I'm usually one of the shortest people around when I'm anywhere, and he wasn't that much different height to me. He may be an inch or two taller, but if he was say 5'7", I would detect distinct height difference. So I was paying attention to where his shoulder was in relation to where my shoulder was, and he's not that tall, and he looked a lot like he did in that booking photo where he's in the orange jumpsuit. He just has more gray to the hair now, and not so young.
Right. And
His
so
hair is much shorter.
okay, interesting. Okay.
I think that he may have been bearded like in the photograph, and wanted to make him look squeaky clean for court.
Oh yeah, that's just a given. Yeah, they're gonna almost like make him look like a grandfatherly type.
Yeah, because Tuesday he looked clean shaven, but when he was in court on Friday, he had some either long razor stubble or a very, very trim beard.
Interesting.
So, I'm not sure which it was. I would swear he was clean shaven when I saw him on Tuesday.
Yes. So, yeah, you went out there, obviously, for the pretrial, and now he's not going to have a trial. His next court date is August 12th?
Well, he has the trial coming up for the assault charge, where he beat the 70-year-old guy with an aluminum chair. And I think that was the 19th, but I need to check on that.
Okay.
He has the court date supposedly for the federal weapons charge on September 12th, but I can guarantee you it's not going to happen then, because on a serious charge where you're going to do some serious time, they always have delays. You can see by the assault charge that was from sometime in 2021, and he's just now getting to the trial date, and we're 7 months into the year now, so I would expect a similar thing for the weapons charge.
Sure, yeah, it definitely takes time, I'm sure. So, and you've I know you've been on some other channels, so what do you think about him? I mean, do you feel like he's a good candidate for the
Yeah, I think so. He and Chase, I'm not sure who I would say is the leader in that. It's looking like it's Jim, but I don't know what they have on Chase, and I don't know what there is out there that they don't have. So, and from my sources, well, we've heard Robert Aviles mentioned, and somebody mentioned in a feed, I think Saturday, that he was named as a person of interest, but I haven't been able to verify that. So I think that may be misinformation at this point. And I've heard from a source that there is a fourth person who hasn't been named on any channel yet in any capacity as being involved, and the mother at the press conference, I believe she said something about a fourth person too. So
Yes, that's right.
dovetails with that. So and when I was listening to Ty Corbin yesterday,
Yeah.
mentioned the name Becky a few times, and it sounds like she might have some knowledge on the case.
Okay.
Not sure exactly if she fits in the equation or not, but in the hearing on Friday, they were talking, and then they asked if they could approach the bench, and they turned on the white noise and talked for a few minutes and came back, and then when the subject of discovery came up, asked if the defense wanted the evidence from the prosecution, and they said yes. And then the prosecution said that they would be happy to turn that over, but they wanted to redact a name from the material because of fear for the person's safety. And so somebody out there is somebody they're afraid of witness tampering or retaliation or something. And I don't think that could be Robert Aviles because he's in custody, and so nobody's going to be able to get to him easily from the outside. And I think that if it was Robert Aviles, that Jim Brenner would have a pretty good idea who it was. So this seems to be somebody that's a little more tangential, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, this is crazy, and with $100,000 on the table, it's very interesting that nobody's kind of rolled over on somebody yet.
Well, I think the thing is that those that know are criminally culpable to some degree or other themselves, and they don't want to do it because then they might have jail time.
Right.
And so, they don't want to be on the hook themselves, and probably wouldn't be able to collect it under those circumstances.
Yeah, I've heard some. Yeah, I need to look some more of that up because I've heard that there's certain times where they say, "Oh yeah, you can." They'll get it, but yeah, they're gonna still do the time. But I don't know if that just depends on the state or that's something I definitely need to research on.
Yeah, it could depend on how the wording on the reward. I haven't ever checked into how that works.
Right.
There's probably some conditions put on by the state and some conditions put on by the family. So.
Definitely. I agree. So you've obviously, I know you've been on some other channels and you've heard Ty Corbin talk. So I think you kind of know a little bit, understand why I'm out in the area I'm at.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, and you've been. It looks like you've been on the channel since I started. So, and like I said, I cannot wait to call my contact. Because she just, like I said, she texted me just minutes before I went live saying, like, you guys might be on the right trail. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what, So, I'm dying to call her back. But yeah, so I've heard also the Golden Spike Trail. Do you know?
That's the old railroad grade that goes from over where you have the meeting of the two railroad lines over at Promontory Point, and it heads west towards. It goes through Lucin and over to Montello. It used to be that Lucin was the stop for the trains to fill up with water, and then they moved it to Montello, and at that point, Lucin died as a town. And so the railroad track goes right through Lucin to be able for them to have done the water. So you can drive on the old railroad grades. A lot of people get on at Currie and do it, and it's a lot more direct than going over the roads. When my family had land south of Rosette, we used to go out there all the time on the railroad grade.
Interesting.
So you save distance, save gas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be nice, especially when you're paying the prices we are now.
Yeah, so you might want to check that out. It's fun to drive.
Yeah. Here, I'm just kind of playing some old footage here. So you went to the court date. So these court dates, are they in public, or are they also? Because a lot of them they've been doing where you do like a Zoom meeting.
The one for Chase was one where you log into WebEx and you can watch that way. But for some reason the link wouldn't work for me. So I had to call in, and you need to have some number to put in
Okay.
at that point. So it's, you'd need to call the court to get that if it's going through the WebEx. But the one for Chase coming up, his initial appearance in federal court. That will be in person. It'll be probably 5 to 10 minutes, just like it was with Jim. I didn't know that they were renovating the old federal courthouse, and so I showed up there just in time for the hearing, and I see all these barricades around it, and they're taking stuff out windows, and so I call up to the court, and they say, "Oh, we're in the building next door." So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's in downtown, and they have like two rows of benches for people to watch, and when on Friday it was like a wedding. You had the bride's side and the groom's side. You had the family all on behind the prosecution. You had all the media on the defense side. So
yeah. Question. So the one that you're talking about, you had to kind of get access and a number. Do you have to be a local to get into the kind of Zoom meeting,
No.
or?
No, that would be something that
Okay.
You get a text. You get an email with a link, and you click on the link to get in.
Okay, so you don't have to be a local or anything. You can.
No.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I was kind of wondering how they were doing that. So.
Yeah, well, it didn't work for me the other day. I don't know what the problem was, but they got me in on audio, so I was able to listen at least. And
yeah, I think it's a new structure, so I'm sure they're just working out the bugs with that kind of that setup.
Yeah, so the federal court doesn't do remote hearings that you can watch. So
Okay.
that's in person or nothing.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. So, because I want to take up too much of your time, and I really, really appreciate you calling in. That you're so sweet.
problem.
You're the sweetest lady. Really quick. Thank you, Taurus, for becoming a member. You're awesome, and I will definitely. We've been putting your link to your channel as well, because you went out there obviously a few days ago, and you were. I think you caught kind of part of the interview with the mother, correct?
I got it all.
Okay, cool.
I knew that they would be slicing and dicing, because they've only got a 2-minute time slot, and they've got to put everything into that. And after watching Amber Heard and the Dateline interview and how they edited it to make it sound a lot more positive for Amber than the initial clips they aired on the morning shows, people want the raw footage. They don't want it edited.
Edited cut,
So,
yeah, because you don't know if they're being biased or whatever, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's just been known for years that's how, interviews back in the day that we just watch on TV when we didn't have YouTube, they were heavily edited to favor, a biased opinion. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so, I got in as close as I could without getting in anybody's camera sight. So,
Yeah.
you were asking about, I think it was you that was asking about possibly using it when you're doing some of your drone footage sometime, and that's fine if you want to do that.
Say that one last time. I heard most of it, but say that first part.
Oh, I think you emailed me about possibly using the interview in the background while you were doing your drone footage.
Okay, yeah.
And that's fine if you do that.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. That's awesome. Quickly, just for those that are watching, this is the Bovine Mountains. Real beautiful. I snagged this, and I'll put the link to this. But this is another area that it's always kind of piqued my interest because this is where there's a lot of cave systems at. And but it's got some really beautiful scenery, obviously.
Have you been studying the topographic maps to get all the relevant things? Okay. One question.
Yes.
Do you look for the old ghost town cemeteries? Because years ago I was visiting Eureka, and they've got some really old graves out there, and the old wood coffins, over time the wood decays and it collapses. And so you could see down into the grave, and sometimes you'd see a void where the part of the coffin is still structurally sound, but it collapsed. And I thought at that time, well, that's the perfect place to hide a body because you've got dead people all around, and cadaver dogs are going to scent all over the place. And so and you've got a ready-made hole, so all you got to do is fill in some more dirt.
Yeah.
Time. If you're somewhere and there is a mark on a topographic map of an old ghost town graveyard, check it out for more recent ground turning.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, we went to Kelton, obviously, which is a ghost town.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of that cemetery. They do have one in Lucin, and I don't know if there's any signs of it still remaining. It's at the base of Lucin Hill on the north end.
North end. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
And it seems like I saw a couple of others out when I was looking at ghost town websites on mentioning cemeteries. So.
Yeah. Interesting. Quickly, just so I can allow some other callers to call in, but I really appreciate your time. I know that you've been kind of in contact, so let me just quickly recap everybody. So Chase is obviously the guy that stumbled out of the woods, or stumbled out of the desert, excuse me, kind of bloodied and no boots. This is the guy that Dylan gave a ride to, that he told his mother no. And then Chase eventually was picked up. And let me just show you guys real quick where he was supposedly picked up at, so let me zoom out real quick. So here you've got, and sorry, I know if you're watching, you're kind of a little bit behind because there's a lag. But yeah, so you got Lucin here, but you got this Highway 30 here. And it looks like he traveled up this way, could have maybe had a ride with Robert Avilius. I mean, there's tons of different scenarios how he could have got up here. And then apparently his father, Chase's father, came and picked him up somewhere around mile marker 53. So there's speculation that something happened before his father picked him up, where he could have him and somebody else dumped the body somewhere. So that's Chase Venstra. And you supposedly had a phone call from an ex-girlfriend or somebody? Gloria? Something happened with your phone here. Oh, that's from the video. Oh dear, I hung up on her and I thought it was the video. I'm sorry, guys. Ah! Gloria, you can call back in. I'm sorry. I forgot to take the audio out on that, and I thought that was hers. Okay. Oh, this is her. Okay, it is. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Call from
True Crime Utah.
Okay, continue. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Yep. Yep. You're good, sweetheart. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she contacted me because I asked a question and she responded. I didn't know she was the ex.
Okay.
And so she answered my question and stated that she was the ex and that's how she knew. And I was wanting to know about the question about the what was it? The search warrant. They messed up the search warrant date on the court documents and said that it was May 12th instead of June 12th. And so I was going, well,